Half-Life. It's one of those games that you can't really get enough of. That's probably why there is such a large modding scene and why I have stuff to talk about each and every week for the past almost 5 years. But wouldn't it be great to play Half-Life in a slightly different way? I know I have covered mods like Half-Life RTX and Half-Life MMod relatively recently, and they're both good mods that transform the gameplay experience. But what if you want even more of a different experience? Well, there are projects in the work all around the community to scratch that itch. And one of such projects is called Codename Loop. And its goal is to reimagine the original Half-Life as a top-down twin-stick shooter. And it just released its latest demo publicly. So, let's have a look.
LambdaGeneration.
So before I fully get into this project and its newest demo, let me first reintroduce the project to the viewers who are not familiar with it yet. Codename Loop, formerly Half-Life Loop, is a project developed by Daniel Almenara, aka Pinky. As I said before, it aims to reimagine the original Half-Life as a twin-stick shooter. So you control your character with one joystick and use the other joystick to move your aim around, usually from an isometric perspective. The story for this project has not yet been fully realized, but at this point it's going to be sort of about the G-Man trapping Gordon in an ever-changing loop to see if he's truly ready to become his employee, tapping into some roguelike elements here. You might not realize this at first, but the project actually doesn't run on the Gold Source engine, but on the Unity engine, as that engine allows for a little bit more flexibility. But as you can see, the visuals are faithfully ported over with maybe some minor enhancements here and there. That's all I'm going to explain for now, but if you'd like to know a little more, then I suggest you to check out the previous video I made on the project. It should be popping up in the corner right now for you to click on. Just don't forget to come back to this video when you're done. So on June 6th, a public demo for Codename Loop released over on ModDB that you can download right now. Now, I did actually play some earlier demos, and if you were part of Pinky's Patreon page, you may have played a few builds before as well. But those builds were pretty scarce in comparison to this new public one. Because not only does this demo include a test level where you can obtain all weapons and test them out, but there is also an entire campaign that you can play. Well, it's actually just a small part of questionable ethics, but hey, it's here. And yeah, this works really well. You'll mostly be using the pistol, crossbow, shotgun, MP5, crowbar, and trip mines in this campaign though. And you'll find these weapons littered around the place, and you can obtain them through killing soldiers, of course. Health and suit chargers also work properly, and you can even get health from the vending machine. Something you'll immediately notice as well is that everything has been arcadified, which means that every pickup now floats and rotates above the ground, you'll see damage numbers fly all over the place, and enemies also have health bars. If that's not your cup of tea, then maybe skip out on this one, but this kind of style usually comes with twin-stick shooters of a similar vein. And I think it works really well here too. Enemies are satisfying to shoot, and seeing their health bar drain is pretty awesome too. What I find very cool as well is that certain enemies will actually start limping when damaged badly enough. Attention to detail. And I also love that weapon bullets are no longer hit scan and can actually be dodged now. So you can do some sick maneuvers to evade your enemy's attempts at killing you and then kill them in return. Now, there can still be some flaws though. I find that certain bits in the geometry don't really get culled away properly or only partially, leaving certain bits of pillars or walls still visible, even though they probably shouldn't. I'm also not entirely sure what to think of being able to see levels below me. On one hand, it doesn't bother me too much, but on the other hand, it kinda looks a bit sloppy maybe? Not really sure how they can solve this. And these environmental targets can be a bit finicky to target sometimes. Yeah, there is a button to target the environment specifically, but I find it doesn't work super well sometimes. Oh, and the headcrabs and bull squids don't gib anymore when being ravaged by the giant lasers. Absolutely unacceptable. Can't recommend the demo in this state. Okay, I'm obviously joking. There are so many things here that I do recommend this project for, like I haven't even gone into half the stuff yet, so let me get into the other stuff right now. Oh, don't forget to subscribe if you like these sorts of videos, by the way. In the options menu, you can pick from a plethora of different character models to play as. You can play as Gordon, of course, but also Ivan the Space Biker, Gus, Gorgeous Freeman, the Valve Man, some protagonists from your favorite mods, and even Magic Nipples is here. Because of course he is. My favorite has got to be this HEV suit wearing Vortigaunt. If you have him hold a snark, it's almost like he's petting his emotional support animal. So adorable. Wait, this camera angle is not isometric. That's right, and that's because Codename Loop is a very functional developer console as well, loaded with some of the most useful commands like noclip, God mode, and more of your favorite source commands. But there is also one command that I found really changes the game. If you type sv_cheats1 in the console followed by cam_view and the numbers 0, 1, or 2, you can shift your camera angle around. Cam_view 1 enables the over-the-shoulder camera so you can play Half-Life as an arcadey third-person shooter. And if you type cam_view 2 in the console, it puts you in FPS mode where you can play Half-Life pretty much the normal way, but with everything else that Codename Loop adds, of course. Typing cam_view 0 in the console will return the camera to its intended position, high up in the sky facing down at you. And I call this the intended position because any of these other modes will kinda show you how hacked up the world geometry is here to compensate for the overhead camera. There is no ceiling, for example, and some bits of geometry will be culled out of existence entirely. But gosh darn it, does the gameplay look good in third-person mode. I'm actually quite a fan. Now, there is one more thing I'd like to talk about that's going to really sell you on Codename Loop, because Codename Loop officially has .bsp support. That's right, the way this version of Questionable Ethics was ported is by modifying it using the Jack editor for Gold Source, by using some special entities meant for Codename Loop, and by just compiling it and stuffing it in Codename Loop. So yeah, if you know how map making works in a map editor like Jack, you can start making your very own custom campaigns for Codename Loop just like that. No need to have any Unity knowledge as far as I can tell. I think that's pretty darn amazing. We're definitely going to see some really cool stuff come out for this, I swear. And if that hasn't sold you yet, it's headed to Steam when it's done as well. Honestly, I don't think I can be more excited about a project than I already am. I just see so much potential in this, it's unreal. It might not be finished yet, but it's going the right direction for sure, and I really beg Pinky to finish this project. Doesn't have to be finished now, doesn't even have to be finished this year. Take your time, but I do really want to see this project fully realized one day. Anyway, what do you think of Codename Loop? Do you see as much potential in it as me? Or do you think this will go nowhere and it will just die? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to read all your opinions. Okay, good. Now that this video is over, I'm going back at staring at my favorite Vort of all time. I mean, just look at this Vort! Look at him and tell me you'll shoot him in the face. Everyone on Twitter saying that they would are silly little liars. Liars, I say!